Hey, welcome back to T Mike's React. Today's creepy and disturbing videos will cause you to change reality. Let's check them out.
While looking at this map, I noticed Astrakhan right here to the side of the Tartarian Empire. So I began to dig into this name, and what I found fit in perfectly with what we have seen all over the world, where they have now changed its spelling. And a very interesting fact is that the ruins of this medieval, and there's that word again, where we know that medieval is just another name for the previous civilization. This medieval settlement were found by archaeologists 12 kilometers upstream from the modern city today, which is interesting. So what is going on 12 kilometers upstream, where there's obviously a clear attempt to trip us up? Changing locations, changing names. But we have found this location, and we are going to expose it right now. Where Zasatarksan was the capital of Astrakhan Khanate by the Astrakhan Tatars. When we click on the capital, the real location that was situated 12 kilometers upstream, we now know that we have
Are the Ashkatars the Ashkenaz? Are they the same people?
found the true location. And then we can begin to find the truth, where they, of course, throw the fire narrative right in there, saying that in 1556, the city burned down by Ivan the Terrible.
Always something being
Ridiculous
burnt down.
name, and completely made up in my opinion. When we scroll down, we know that they got to this location, hiding something massive from all of us, hiding the past, changing its history forever. When in 1942, during our current timeline, this location was bombed and destroyed.
So it was burnt down and then bombed.
The system wasn't built for you to win.
No?
You went to school to memorize facts you never use.
True.
You were trained to raise your hand, wait your turn, and follow instructions.
Right.
Then they told you, get a job, work 40 hours a week, give half of it to tax, retire at 67 if you're lucky. That's not a life. That's
No.
a script. And most people don't question it because they're too tired from living it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Fact.
That's when you realize freedom was never going to be handed to you. You have to build it. And that's why I teach digital products, because ownership is the only way out. No boss, no begging, no clocking. You move different when you know the system was never designed to serve you. It was designed to use you. Break the script or stay stuck in it.
Your choice.
Do y'all see the crazy shit that's taking place in Lake Tahoe as we speak? First and foremost, let's start off with the fact that this is the end of June and we are in the beginning of summer. The DoorDash CEO
crazy.
and friends were on a boat partying for a friend's birthday party. Mind you, Lake Tahoe, maybe 80 degrees or something, maybe more. On that boat partying, that boat capsizes. 8 people that were on that boat lost their life. Mind you, these people were on the boat enjoying themselves, and out of nowhere, the weather just switched. Strong winds, pushing boats from side to side, shit was getting crazy. And if you want to see this at that search bar, you would definitely be able to see it. But shit was out of order. But this is where shit gets even worse. Again, we are in June, the beginning of summer. I need you to go on the map and look at where Lake Tahoe is. After you go on that map and look at where Lake Tahoe is, I need you to understand that right now in Lake Tahoe, it is a snowstorm. There are people posting that it is snowing now in Lake Tahoe. They had so many different weather changes just in a short amount of time. Unexplainable weather changes that weren't detected. And what's even
Yo, what is going on with the weather?
crazier with the DoorDash CEO losing his life, if you look at it, it's random, but it really doesn't seem random at all. Look at all the shit that was going on with Uber. And then
Okay. There might be a copyright strike with this music, y'all, but what are we looking at here? The Vatican doesn't want you to know that. Canaan, Jared. Noah? Whoa. Giants? Were they real? Or are they real?
Man, get in here, get in here, get in here. Now, this secret gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, including mine. Including mine. It hurt my feelings too.
Uh-oh.
And I learned to never be called a Christian again.
What?
And you're about to learn the secret behind the legalese language of why you should never
Pause
be called
it and read
Christians, because your pastors are calling you certain terms and you don't realize what they're calling you. Now, before I reveal this secret, he's calling you 3 things when you are called a Christian. He's saying that you're an idiot. I'm about to show you. Stupid. I'm about to show you. And you're a person that have thyroid disease. That's why he tell you to look up towards the sky and pray. It's symbolic to say you have thyroid disease.
Okay.
When you are being called a Christian. But before I show you the receipts, if you'd like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it. But let's continue.
Pause
Cretin
and read it.
is now a derogatory term meaning idiot. Now, this is what he's calling you in legalese without you even knowing what he's saying when you call yourself a Christian. It has a more complex and surprising history. The word's origin is linked to the Swiss French term Christian, right? Which did means Christian. So he's calling you this already. Now, what is Cretin means? What does Cretin means? But you can see Christian, right? Or Christianity, whatever you want to call it. Cretin means a stupid person.
Wow.
So you was already called an idiot, but they put some umph on it. Now you're a stupid person.
Cretin. Now, we learning something, y'all.
With thyroid, deficiency of thyroid.
Cretin.
You can see, right? Thyroid disease. Thyroid disease. Idiot. And a stupid person. Wow. See? This is why it's called legalese language, because you're not supposed to know what you are being called. That's why I can't be a Christian. Okay? But if you'd like to donate $1 for this secret, I greatly appreciate anything.
Wow. How many of you guys knew that?
Oh, the news is out. So for the people that did not understand what Trump was saying about the 14th Amendment. So for you guys that don't know, all these people that are on our land are over here illegally.
Right.
They don't have no citizenship because there's no such thing as a citizenship. They don't have no birthrights to our land. Okay, so what y'all not understanding is if you're from Europe and you have a baby over here, your baby is still a European. It is not an American, right? That's why they have Afro-Americans, European Americans, Chinese American. If you notice, they put the name behind it because they're not from here, right? Now, not only that, they got to pay back everything that they stole. This is where the war is at. This is why they keep going back and forth, because they was trying to say that, hey, this is the immigrants' land because they came over here and they took it, right? That's not the case. So let me give you a heads up on what I mean. Okay, say I'm finna go ahead and do this based on the 4th of July, right? A lot of you guys still don't understand what the 4th of July is. It says Independence Day, but independence from who?
Come on.
That's the first thing that you need to understand.
Come on.
The independence is not from the British. The independence is from the Black Americans. They fought us to create their own independence here. And when they did that, y'all got to understand where we start playing into these games at. Right? So when we were over here, this was our land. We were still sharecroppers. And then we ended up in the war with these folks. And we became the prisoners of war, not slaves. We wasn't working for them. They was too busy trying to become free. Alrighty, so on Juneteenth, right? They were freed. You was prisoners of war, so how was you freed? It doesn't make sense, do it? So let me continue. Then on July the 4th, 1776, then they stated their independence. Who was they independent from? You can't say British, because they wasn't fighting on British soil. They was fighting on American soil. This is why y'all gotta understand the context of the information that these people be putting out. I just be listening to them, cause they ain't said nothing that made sense, and when it don't make sense, it don't make dollars. That's why they been stealing it. So when it comes to the birthright citizenship, right? So now y'all understand about these different holidays and stuff. Juneteenth don't belong to us, it belongs to them. July the 4th don't belong to us, it belongs to them. They were creating their independence from America, but still on American soil. So this is where they created the second constitution that y'all don't know about. And then what they was trying to do is bring all these immigrants over here. So
Second constitution. Did you guys know about that? If you did, leave that in the comments below. Hey, and if you like my content, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet.
that the second constitution will stand, but it can't, because there was already original document, and everything that they created came from our Constitution, the 14th Amendment. So when y'all go and read the New Testament, when Paul talking about he had dual citizenship, this is where you got to pay attention to the context of the information that is being written in that Bible. They said he was still a Roman. Excuse me, he was a Jew on Roman territory. And if you listen, they said he had dual citizenship. So what they was trying to state is, any immigrant that came over here and had a child over here had dual citizenship. No, they did not have dual citizenship. They are still whatever they came from. That's what Trump was trying to allow y'all to know, so that you can understand what's going on. They've been coming over here living off of us scot-free.
I know that.
And y'all can thank Martin Luther King for that.
Come on.
Because if you notice, everybody got their own stuff except us.
That's a fact.
He
That
talking about we
is
wanted to
a
belong
fact.
to who? And why? This is why I tell you guys, man, do y'all own research. We are the mystical people of this land. We don't need no history, because our magic lives on beyond. We are the mystical people of this land. That part.
So I know what just happened in China was bad, but check out what just took place in Pakistan, y'all. This whole village literally wiped off the map, y'all. Oh my goodness. And
Pakistan. What body of water is this? Something, it had to be something that just like a flash flood, because look at all those people trapped over there. And that water is running.
people are
fast.
hanging on to this island like it is their last breath. And there's actually been people lost in this. Look at this, y'all. This water came out of nowhere like a thief in the night. Where's all this water coming from? And later on, the water became even more intense. And because the water's so strong, people got lost in the currents.
This.
That's crazy, y'all. The whole town is literally wiped off the map. Look at this. This is crazy, man. At first it was all the wildfires, right? It was like the fog that started all this. Then the wildfires came, and now the flood is coming in. The sun is popping off as well. Look at that, y'all. Y'all can tell it was hot there too. I'm telling y'all, man, we are literally in the times of revelations, man. This is the cleansing of the great mother that's taking place. This is crazy, man. Literally everywhere. People are trapped all over Pakistan. This water literally came out of nowhere. Remember, everything has changed with the weather now, they told us, man.
Again.
This is interesting. Let me know what you guys think
What
about this
is
video,
going
y'all.
on with the
Let's
weather?
continue to get this shift. It's here. Peace out.
Y'all can't say this is normal.
Black people in America, whether enslaved
What?
or free, cannot be U.S. citizens. I want you to hear what I just said, and I just said it. Black folks in America, whether you were slaved or freed, cannot be U.S. citizens. Hear me out. Don't call me a racist just yet.
You said just
It's the
yet.
best thing for you, and you need to understand the relevance of it. Okay, the overturning the Dred Scott, the 14th Amendment clause was designed to reverse the Supreme Court's decision in 1857, Dred Scott versus Stanford. Decision which held that black people, whether enslaved or free, could not be U.S. citizens. The 14th Amendment ensured citizenship for formerly enslaved people and their descendants. So, you black people, in 1857, right before the Civil War started, treaties made in pursuance thereof, Supremacy Clause, says that you're free. Says that you are not even allowed to be a U.S. citizen. And I know most people says, oh, I am a U.S. citizen. Oh, you don't want to be. Because as a U.S. citizen, your government is your creator and you're under their rules and jurisdiction. Now, the reason that they said this is that you were brought here, bought and paid for. You were a slave. Immigrants come here either illegally or legally. Are you with me? To better their life. You didn't have that option. That's why you wasn't even allowed to be a U.S. citizen. So you was free from 1857 from this Supreme Court case, which the Constitution and all them white people that y'all hate freed you. Y'all just didn't catch the memo. The federal government created a war, and then they fucking designed an amendment that completely conflicts with the Supremacy Clause. Treaties made in pursuance thereof, the Constitution is the law of the land. All right, not something that the bar registry puts forward and condemns as unconstitutional. So, constitutional hillbilly here. You black people, you need to go back and read that, because the 14th Amendment says that you're admitting that you're slaves or you're descendants of slaves. If you're not allowed to be a U.S. citizen as a black person before the Civil War, you were getting ready to be freed. Do you understand that? Right. Okay.
How do y'all feel about that?
Hey, tell me y'all heard the news about the Supreme Court passing the birthright citizenship. So y'all know what that means, right? No more of you immigrants benefiting off our inheritance, off the so-called black Americans' inheritance. Ain't no more free rides, no more government assistance, no more
What is our
checks,
inheritance?
all these loans, that shit over with. That's supposed to be given to us. That's supposed to go to us. All these years. And I'm glad this is a beautiful time to be alive. Like I told y'all in the post I made a while ago that went viral. I told y'all Trump for the so-called black Americans. But y'all didn't believe me. But now y'all about to see. Watch how things finna change now that this birthright citizenship has been passed. And it proves that we have been here before anybody.
Oh, I know
Because
that.
why are we the only ones that the birthright citizenship was granted to? Like I said, a lot of y'all been hating on us so-called black Americans for the longest. A lot of y'all been prejudiced against us. I guess that's the word. Call us lazy, call us that. Want to know why? Because you benefiting off our inheritance. And that shit over with.
You got to look into that.
How many people do you think were brought over from Africa on slave ships? Because that definitely happened.
I don't believe it.
What do you mean you don't believe it?
I don't believe that story.
But I'm still confused. There's a great history of slave ships being brought over from Africa with Africans that became slaves and worked in the South. Do you think that's lies?
History is his story.
Right.
What about my story? Is my story not valid?
But if you do 23andMe on someone from these parts of the country, you'll find out that
23andMe.
Well, that's real.
So
what is 23andMe?
So when I take a 23andMe test, right?
Yes.
What's it going to tell me about Africa?
That's a good question. We should find out.
It's probably going to say,
one.
"Oh, you're from Kenya, or you're from Angola, you're from this, right?"
Right.
These things, these borders, were created by Europe.
In terms, yes,
right.
In terms of like what parts of Africa and how it's distributed, and what's a country and what's not a country.
Yeah,
right.
These
by
names,
the Afrikaners and Dutch
colonizers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't classify me based upon a European name.
I understand that, but they're saying geographically, geographic location, you can call it whatever name you want.
Right.
They can tell you where your genetics originated. Like,
Right.
I've got
Not
some weird
true.
shit in me. I got like 1% Asian. I don't know why it's there. 1.6% African.
Okay.
There's also weird stuff that you find in your DNA that like your ancestors and ancestors' ancestors,
Right. So
someone
let's
was
walk down
somewhere.
there.
If you pay attention at the very bottom and very, very small right, and it says for entertainment purposes only. This stuff is not real. There's no way they can tell you who your ancestors are because they're not able to dig up those ancient bodies.
Let's walk down that
Right.
path, right? So
You need to have DNA from, well, let's continue.
either way, if you take black people here in America and you do their DNA sample and it point back to Africa, what does that say? It says black people in America are Africans. Now, the argument is, were we brought here or were we already here? Did we bring ourselves here or did the white man bring us here? You see, when you say the white man brought us here, what you're doing is you're removing our ability to transport ourselves. You're saying, oh, we didn't know anything about boats. That's what you're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me that we didn't know that there was a landmass here. Only the holy white man knew there was land to the west. But when you look at the holy white man, he said, when we got here, we met black people. Go look at the primary source. We got here, we met black people. When we got to the Caribbean, we met black people. You think the Caribbean is right next to America and they weren't in America?
That's interesting.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
When you go to
it
South
makes sense that you do have people that have traveled, whether it's Polynesians that traveled to Hawaii or people. I mean, there's the Olmecs who were thousands and thousands of years ago in South America. They have clearly African faces.
Yes.
On this, I mean, really, the noses, the lips. I mean, they look African.
Right.
And that was a South American culture that existed, and we don't know anything about them other than the fact that they have these gigantic stone sculptures that have African faces.
Think about it. Oh. You know what, y'all? I did not mean to have this one on here. This one is going on Patreon. We're going to bypass this one. We'll keep it going.
I'm not even lying, y'all. And the wild part is they said they didn't have no warning, no alert, no siren. People was just chilling
Lake Tahoe
when this
turns
storm
into
just
a
did
ocean.
this shit. Look at this shit, y'all. If you didn't know no better, you would have thought this was a lake, right? This shit look crazy. Look at the boats.
Okay, well.
You had
we're
people
not
that been
seeing
living
it, buddy.
there for 30 and 40 years that said they never seen anything like this.
You can understand why they don't want you to know about this document. I didn't even know about this document because this document speaks against the narrative. Because it's contradicting. It doesn't make sense. The Havara Agreement during wartime? Like, listen to what this says and tell me if you or this will make you a denier. Not saying I'm a denier, I'm just saying that it contradicts the narrative. Heavily.
We all agree that not learning about the Havara Agreement is weird. Skylar, can you pull this up? The Havara Agreement? I mean, what? You didn't even learn about it because then maybe you would ask another question that they don't want you asking, and this is why the new radical Zionist pitch is, you're not just asking questions. Don't ask any questions. Don't. Just remember what you learned in public school, and that's it. Can you pull this up on Wikipedia? We're going to get this up for you. The Havara Agreement. The Havara Agreement is the transfer agreement. It was an agreement between Nazi Germany and Zionist organizations that was signed on the 25th of August of 1933.
Huh?
When Hitler was in power.
During war.
They signed an agreement with the Nazis. The agreement was finalized after 3 months of talks by the Zionist Federation of Germany, the Anglo-Palestine Bank, under the directive of the Jewish Agency, and the economic authorities of Nazi Germany. It was a major factor in making it possible for people to migrate approximately 60,000 German Jews to Palestine between 1933 and 1939. That's during wartime, right? So of course you naturally would go, okay, and this is why I didn't learn this as well, maybe you did. Did you guys learn it? Did you learn it? I'm gonna check the chat. You naturally go, okay, so some were being legally transferred to be allowed to resettle in Palestine while the rest of them were being killed? Like, how did they decide who? But no.
That's how they got there.
You do understand, right, how that completely goes against what we've been taught. Well, because you have to ask questions. You have to be like, wait. How did they choose who they unalived and sent to the camps over the people that got to migrate or settle in Palestine? And why is this the first time I've ever heard about this? And it's 2025.
I've never heard about it.
Do I have to really spell out why this information contradicts the events that we've been propagated to believe as a narrative back in 1930 to 40s? Because it also doesn't make sense that you go from Time Magazine's Man of the Year to Megamaniacal Maniac. I mean, what? I'm not a denier, but I'm saying.
Y'all, what do you think? Okay, again, I didn't know this was in here. This is going on Patreon. I'll put my Patreon information on there. But yeah, this is definitely not for YouTube. We gotta skip this one as well. And we shall continue.
Well, let me get this straight. Isn't that ironic that Trump, who says he's the ruler of the world, goes and meets with the Saudi king? They build an alliance. They have Trump escorted by a motorcade, but with white horses. Remember, the white horse went out conquering and to conquer. Very interesting. And then all attention goes on to this man right here, the king of Saudi Arabia. And we know in the book of Isaiah, it mentions a future leader who is, everyone believes that they're talking about the Antichrist in the book of Isaiah. And it talks about the Assyrian, and what do you know? We make basically a truce with Syria, and all of Syria's people marvels at this man. But we also know in the book of Daniel, because there's a lot of Old Testament cross-referencing going on, it talks about how that the little horn will give power to the beast. And so is he actually the little horn giving power to the beast? Wake up. Also, Mystery Babylon. I wonder what's falling right now. Listen, there's a lot to talk about. I've just been busy all day, but I'm just saying, y'all, man, this right here is not a good sign at all as it pertains to biblical prophecy and what is going on in our world right now. Also, let's not forget that Elon Musk was there along with a bunch of other billionaires who run the world. Wake up.
What is going on? I tell you, we're living in strange times, y'all. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you found some entertainment and some value in my videos. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Stay safe.